There is nothing in this world more terrifying than someone threatening to take your children. Nothing. Not heartbreak, not betrayal, not loss of any other kind. When someone looks you in the eye and says, "I will take your children from you," something primal wakes up inside you. Something fierce and cold and absolutely certain. My name is Lauren, and my mother-in-law, Barbara, made that threat to my face. On a Sunday afternoon in September, she thought she had the power to follow through. She was wrong. To understand what Barbara did, you first need to understand who she was. Barbara was the kind of woman who had controlled everything in her life for 63 years. Her home, her social circle, her husband Gerald, who had learned somewhere in the first decade of their marriage to simply agree with whatever Barbara decided. And most of all, her son Tyler. Tyler was an only child, the center of Barbara's entire universe. She had raised him with a love that was genuine but suffocating. The kind of love that does not know where it ends and the other person begins. When Tyler and I got married 5 years ago, Barbara smiled through the entire ceremony. But I noticed even then that the smile never quite reached her eyes. She did not want to lose her son, and she saw me as the person who was taking him. For the first 2 years of our marriage, Barbara's control expressed itself in manageable ways. Unsolicited advice about our home, opinions about how I cooked, suggestions about Tyler's career that she delivered directly to him without including me. Annoying, but manageable. Then our twins were born, and everything changed. Our twins, a boy named Cole and a girl named Lily, were born 3 years ago. They are the greatest thing that has ever happened to me. They are also the thing Barbara decided she owned. From the moment they were born, Barbara inserted herself into every aspect of their lives with an intensity that went far beyond normal grandmother involvement. She showed up at our house unannounced, multiple times per week. She bought them clothes and toys, and then told me my choices for them were wrong, too cheap, not the right brands, not what she would have chosen. She undermined every parenting decision I made. Sleep schedules, food choices, screen time, discipline, in front of the children. She told Cole once, he was 2 years old, that mommy was being too strict, and that grandma would never say no to him. I addressed it with Tyler. Tyler spoke to Barbara. Barbara apologized to Tyler, and then behaved exactly the same way the following week. But none of that, as exhausting and infuriating as it was, prepared me for what came next. About 18 months ago, Barbara began what I can only describe as a campaign, a deliberate, organized campaign to make me look like an unfit mother. It started with comments to other family members, her sister, her friends, Tyler's cousins who came to holiday gatherings, small things, carefully worded. Lauren seems so overwhelmed with the twins. I worry about how much she loses her patience. The children seem anxious lately. I think the home environment may be stressful. None of it was true, but it was planted carefully in the ears of enough people that a picture began to form. Then she escalated. She began documenting things. I did not know this at the time, but Barbara had been keeping a journal, writing down incidents, real ones twisted out of context, and invented ones presented as fact. I found out about the journal later. At the time, all I knew was that Tyler was coming home from visits, with his mother looking troubled, asking me questions about specific moments with the children that he seemed to have detailed secondhand information about. Mom said Cole was crying for a long time. Last Tuesday when she came over, she said you just left him. I was in the shower, Tyler, for 8 minutes. Cole was in his playpen completely safe. I know, she seemed concerned. She is always concerned, Tyler. That is her strategy. He did not want to believe his mother was doing this deliberately. I understood that, but it was becoming impossible to ignore. The Sunday in September started normally. Barbara came for her weekly visit. Tyler was home. The twins were in the living room, watching cartoons. I made coffee and brought it to the table, and sat down and everything seemed fine. Then Tyler received a work call and stepped outside to take it. Barbara and I were alone. She waited until she heard the back door close behind Tyler. Then she set down her coffee cup, very deliberately. And she looked at me. "Lauren," she said, "I think it is time we had an honest conversation." Something in her tone made me go very still. "I have been watching you with those children for 3 years," she said, "and I have serious concerns about their well-being in your care." I said nothing. I waited. "I have documentation," she said, "a detailed record of incidents going back 18 months. I have spoken to an attorney." My heart was beating very fast, but my face was completely calm. "I am telling you this woman to woman," Barbara said, "because I want to give you the opportunity to make this easy. Step back from the primary caregiver role. Let Tyler and I take over the children's care. Do it voluntarily and I will not. Take this to court." She paused. "Fight me on this and I will pursue full custody on Tyler's behalf, and I will use everything I have documented to make sure you lose." I looked at this woman who had smiled at my wedding, who had held my babies in the hospital, who had called herself their grandmother, and I felt something move through me that I can only describe as ice. "Thank you for telling me, Barbara," I said quietly, and I stood up and walked outside to where Tyler was finishing his call. I told Tyler everything. The moment he ended his call, standing in our backyard on that Sunday afternoon, I repeated every word his mother had said to me at the kitchen table. Tyler's face went through several expressions very quickly. Disbelief, then anger, then something that looked painfully like recognition. "Tyler," I said, "did you know she was doing this?" "No," he said immediately. "I knew she had concerns. I did not know she had gone to an attorney. I did not know she was keeping documentation. But the concerns," I said carefully, "the things she has been telling you about me and the children, did any part of you believe them?" A long pause. "No," he said, but it came out quietly, too quietly. "Tyler." "There were moments," he said, "small things she described that I thought, maybe Lauren is more stressed than she is telling me. Maybe I should be paying more attention." He looked at me. "I never thought you were an unfit mother. Never once. But she is my mother, Lauren." And she was so convincing and so consistent, and I did not want to believe. She was capable of this. I took a breath. "She is capable of this," I said, "and now we need to decide what we are going to do about it." Tyler straightened. "Tell me what you need," he said. The first thing I did the next morning was call a family law attorney named Christine Walsh. Christine was sharp and experienced and immediately understood exactly what Barbara was attempting. "This is a grandparent interference case," Christine said. "She cannot pursue custody on her own. She would need Tyler to be party to any filing. The threat she made is designed to frighten you into voluntarily reducing your parental role. Do not do that under any circumstances." I had no intention of doing that. Christine advised me to begin my own documentation immediately. I started a daily log, every interaction with the twins, their health, their happiness, their routines and milestones, photos and videos dated and timestamped. I gathered character references. Our pediatrician who had seen the twins at every checkup for 3 years and had never once expressed concern. Their preschool teachers, who knew them as happy, settled children. Friends who had seen me parent consistently and lovingly over years. I also, on Christine's advice, installed a home security system with interior cameras in common areas. Not because I had anything to hide, but because I was done having my words twisted by someone with an agenda. Tyler, meanwhile, had a conversation with his father, Gerald. Gerald. Quiet, long-suffering Gerald, who had spent 40 years agreeing with everything Barbara said, listened to Tyler explain everything. And then Gerald said something. That surprised everyone. He said, "Your mother has gone too far this time. I will talk to her." 2 weeks after the Sunday in September, Tyler and I sat down with Barbara and Gerald at their house. Christine had advised me on exactly what to say and exactly what not to say. Tyler spoke first. He told his mother that he knew about the documentation, about the attorney consultation, about the threat she had made to me. He told her that he was not and would never be party to any custody action against his wife. He told her that Lauren was an extraordinary mother and that the children were thriving and that he was deeply ashamed of what she had attempted. Barbara tried to speak several times. Gerald quietly placed his hand over hers. Each time, and she stopped. When Tyler finished, Gerald spoke. "Barbara," he said, "what you did was wrong. I should have said this a long time ago about many things. But this, threatening your daughter-in-law, threatening to use the courts, to take children from their mother, this is wrong. And it stops today." Barbara looked at her husband, as if she had never quite seen him before. Then she looked at me. I thought she might argue, might defend herself, might try one more strategy. Instead, something in her face simply collapsed. She started crying. Real tears this time, not performance. "I just love them so much." She said, "I just love Tyler so much. I do not know how to love them without controlling them, Mom." Tyler said gently but firmly, "That is what you need to learn." The boundaries we set after that meeting were non-negotiable. Visits twice a month, scheduled in advance, with both Tyler and I present. No unsolicited advice about parenting. No comments about my capabilities as a mother. No conversations with other family members about our home life. One violation of any boundary meant visits would be suspended. Barbara agreed to every condition. She also, at Gerald's insistence, began seeing a therapist, someone who could help her understand why her love had become something controlling and destructive. I did not expect miracles, and I did not get them immediately. The first few visits were stiff and careful. Barbara was clearly uncomfortable with the new structure, but slowly, very slowly, something began to shift. She started asking instead of telling. She started following my lead with the children instead of overriding it. She started saying thank you when I included her in moments with Cole and Lily, instead of acting as though those moments were her right. 6 months after the confrontation, she called me. Not Tyler, me. She said, "Lauren, I owe you an apology that I should have given you a long time ago. For more than just September. For all of it. I am sorry. I listened to every word." Then I said, "Thank you, Barbara. I appreciate that." And I meant it. Cole and Lily turned 3 last month. We had a birthday party in our backyard. Balloons and cake and all their preschool friends running through the garden in the sunshine. Barbara was there. She sat at the picnic table and watched Cole tear open his presents with the kind of pure, uncomplicated joy that only a 3-year-old can have. And she laughed. A real laugh. Not a performance. Not a strategy. Just a grandmother laughing at her grandchildren's happiness. I watched her from across the yard, and I thought, this is what it was always supposed to look like. This is what it could have been. From the very beginning, if fear and control had not gotten in the way. Tyler put his arm around me and said, "You okay?" I leaned into him. "More than okay," I said. "I fought for my children. I won. And the woman who threatened to take them from me is now simply their grandmother, which is all she ever needed to be." If you are a mother facing someone who is threatening your relationship with your children, document everything. Get legal advice immediately, and never, ever let anyone convince you to voluntarily step back from your children out of fear. Your children need you. Fight for them. Thank you for being here with Drama Hub Stories today. Please subscribe for a powerful news story every single day. And tell me in the comments, have you ever had to fight for your family against someone who tried to control everything? I read every comment. See you in the next story.